All right. Give it another minute here. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Super excited you're here. Please feel free to post in the chat where you're dialing in from. It's always great to see how we're connected globally. There we go. I'm seeing Minnesota, Connecticut. All right. Exciting, exciting. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Super excited that you're here. I have an awesome topic today. I'm Mark Bradley, Senior Product Manager here at Flexera, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to our discussion today. So before we dive in, just a couple of housekeepings. So this session will be recorded, and the recording and relevant materials will be available. So you'll be able to catch the replay. And then all attendees are automatically muted, but we encourage you to ask questions through the Q&A. So it looks like many of you have found the public chat, and then there's some Q&A. I've left plenty of time for questions. And then, and if I'm not able to answer any of those questions, obviously we'll follow up with you. It's scheduled for 60 minutes, but hopefully we'll be able to cover the material, answer your questions, and then if there's any follow-up, we can take it from there. All right. So what is the big announcement? What is the exciting new capability that we're announcing today is Flexera launches Cloud License Management. And the idea is to provide visibility into software licenses in the cloud. So many of the ITAM practitioners, they're aware of the cloud activities. In many cases, we're seeing where the groups are siloed, but there are cases where the groups are working together. And the main area of focus when you look in the cloud is a concept called pay-as-you-go versus bring your own license. So we'll talk a little bit about that and recommendations and how to maintain. So in addition to launching of Cloud License Management, we're also excited to announce that we had launched Cloud Sustainability on Earth Day. So early access to cloud sustainability. So we may have one slide on that, but today's discussion is primarily Cloud License Management. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my camera just so that I have full bandwidth and you get the full experience as we go through this, and we'll take it from there. So let me, I think there's a section here where I can do that. There we go. All right. So let's get started. Super excited you're here. So the agenda will be the business problem. So we'll go through what and why for Cloud License Management. What are the benefits? I'm going to show you how it works. And then I'm going to share with you customer success stories. And then I'm going to cover some of the roadmap as we go forward. So those that have taken advantage of Flexera's platform, I know a number of you are still on-prem and you're looking to do the migration and make your way over. The idea is that you have ITAM visibility, you have ITAM asset management, and then we're introducing this new capability, this Cloud License Management. And the idea is to bridge the gap between what happens in ITAM and what happens in the cloud. And it's a laser focus on the resources that are utilizing software. We see some tremendous opportunities, and so that's what we want to zero in on. So software licenses, they're widely distributed, and because of the massive growth and the workloads that are being transferred from on-prem to the cloud, we're seeing some visibility gaps. We're seeing opportunities where things have changed really fast. On typical on-prem, we've been able to manage that. We've done a really good job as an industry, and we've been really good at data center as well. And we understand both the end user and the data center. It's pretty controllable. But with the idea of being able to spin up resources and take them back down at a very rapid pace, we see cloud license management having the visibility challenge. And so this is the area that we want to zero in on. Cloud software is now around 25% of the total cloud bill. And we've been hearing this from Gartner, Forrester. We're seeing it in the Flexera State of the Cloud report, as well as the ITAM report. So there's some pretty significant data that helps support the point. With more than half of the workloads moving from the data center to the cloud, we keep seeing the visibility gap. It's growing wider. And what you're seeing here is from the Flexera State of the Cloud report, our industry is changing. And what you're seeing here is what was traditionally on-prem, now moving to the cloud. Now, what's interesting is on-prem is continuing to grow, but at a smaller pace. And what you're seeing is a rapid growth in public cloud. And because of this, that's where we're seeing cloud license management being the area of opportunity. And as more and more workloads transition from the data center to the cloud, and as each of you are going through your negotiations with Microsoft and Oracle and all the heavy players that we work with on a regular basis, we're finding that we need this information to, one, put us in a position of strength in our negotiations, as well as protecting us in case of an audit. So there's a couple of areas of focus there. So as we go into it, keep in mind that cloud providers don't mind if customers overspend. In fact, they encourage it. And there's no incentive for the cloud provider to help guide you on the proper licensing. That's kind of what our role is. That's why we're at the table. And so when you look on the left here, we talk about pay-as-you-go software license. So the idea here is that you go to the marketplace, you select a server type, and maybe it's SQL Enterprise. And then what will happen is you click on the button, it charges your account, and then it automatically spins up a machine, pre-configured, everything's there, you're good to go. The challenge is that you might already own licenses. In fact, we've seen use cases where ITAM has reserved licenses for those that are spinning these up in the cloud, but the FinOps practitioner went ahead and used the marketplace anyways. And so there's some opportunities that we will be able to expose there. It's much more expensive. I think we all can agree on how expensive it is. The costs are unpredictable, and the contractual terms are not the ones that you negotiated. So that's an area of opportunity. So why is bring your own license a better option? It's a better option for the workloads. It's you can configure it in the way that you need to, and it also has your contractual terms that you've negotiated. So one, you're staying in compliance, and then two, you're getting the potential savings that you negotiated for. So these are the two key terms as we go forward. And if you have questions, by all means, put them in the chat if you need some more clarity on this. But this is kind of that starting point as to what we're able to do. Now, cloud license management, one of the key benefits for ITAM. We've been working with customers who have been doing this by spreadsheet, and they've been laser focused on one particular title or another, not across the portfolio, because it's really time consuming when you do it from a manual perspective. So in this case here, Flexera is able to save you about 40 hours per month on manual cloud license tracking, which is pretty significant. And then when we talk about spend, helping you optimize your spend, we're going to show you some examples whereby as soon as we turned it on and quickly looked at your cloud bill and then looked into ITAM, we're right away able to show savings, and they're pretty significant. Now, there will be cases where you'll see it and you'll say, yeah, we can't change it because we have this scenario or another scenario, and we get it. But now you're aware of it. And then as we continue, we'll be able to show you the realized savings. And that's pretty important too. We as practitioners need to show our value. And what we've done on this dashboard is we're able to show you the value you bring to the table. So that's pretty impressive. And then obviously reducing the risk as more and more workloads go to the cloud, recognizing that bring your own license is a key savings, but making sure you have those licenses backed up behind it within ITAM. And so we'll show you that and how we're able to connect it. And the key takeaway is this quote. We had a number of customers in our early access program. And one of the quotes was, before Flexera's cloud license management, this was a monster of a problem to manage. And then now it's easy. So I'm excited and looking forward to showing you it as we move forward. And then some of the benefits for FinOps. So I'm hoping that there's some FinOps practitioners on. If you're there, again, put your, which side of the fence, or if you're doing both, please put them in the public chat there, and let's see the audience that we're working with in terms of, your role. But the idea is to help make better decisions based off the business value. So as you're working on your cloud spend and you're trying to reduce it, typically in the FinOps world and the FinOps best practices, it's about optimizing. It's about optimizing the resources and getting the most out of each resource that we invest in. And then as we're growing and our portfolio is optimized, what this is going to do is this is going to help us, do more with less, if you will. So there's business value there. The other area is the cloud software usage in terms of which departments, which business units, which business services, being able to show the breakdown as to where these expenses are coming from so that we can manage them accordingly. So it's that visibility and accountability. And then being able to take advantage of variable cost models. That's the beauty of the cloud, is that as we're playing in multiple, whether it's AWS, Azure, Google, as we're playing in the different areas and we're spinning up workloads, the variability of it and being able to take advantage of it and being aware of it. So there's some interesting perspectives there. All right, so cloud license management. So this is an area where we combine the software cost from the cloud bill and license data from ITAM. And the idea is to provide you with actionable insights. And so what you're seeing here on the left is you have the ITAM best practices where you're seeing this granular visibility. So when we show you the product, what you're going to be able to do is see at the resource level, what was the service that we spun up, and then what did we put on there? Did we put SQL? Did we put Oracle? And then what version or flavor did we put on there to address the challenge that it's trying to solve? And then show back software costs. So being able to say, okay, this is this business unit that's using this, and therefore they should be the ones accountable. And then optimizing software cost. We believe that by bringing ITAM closer to FinOps, not only can FinOps optimize the infrastructure, but then ITAM can optimize the license position and take full advantage of the dynamics of the cloud. And then on the FinOps side, they're avoiding software costs. Stop paying for software that's the organizations already contractually own, have already negotiated the terms in their favor. And then being able to forecast. So as new workloads start to move to the cloud, or you spin down a workload and a license becomes available. And then, of course, overall, being able to address compliance, or be able to address and making sure that you're current. So those are the key areas. Let's take a look at how it works. And I think this is the area that will help connect some of the dots as to what we do. So how does it work? On the left here, what we do is, if you'll recognize that the cloud bill is not only deep, but wide. And the cloud bills can be up to millions of rows of activity. And so what we've done here is we've filtered that cloud bill to only the resources that have software on it. And then by narrowing that down, that gives us a very small subset compared to the entire bill. And then once we have that, we use our aggregation capabilities across AWS and Azure, and we normalize that data. And then we do a call out to ITAM, it's IT Asset Management, and we check to see that the licenses that are pay-as-you-go, do we have those licenses available in ITAM? And if we do, let's put that in the normalization process. And then by doing that, we're looking for that actionable insight. What we're able to do is show you at the resource level which software licenses are eligible for bring your own license. And so you're seeing that in this dashboard to the right. And then as we continue this cycle, many customers update, and the cloud providers are giving us billing updates every couple of hours. And so we're pulling that data, we're reviewing it through the ingestion process, we're normalizing it, and then we're publishing that actionable insight. So it's pretty powerful from a high level. When we get into CLM, what you're seeing here on the left is one of the screens that you dig into. And what we're looking at is Windows Server. And then within Windows Server, where you see the box that has the 500 bring your own license, this box right here is the connection between FinOps and ITAM. So we've actually gone into ITAM and we've seen what the available licenses are for Windows Server. And then we can see that we're taking advantage of 400 of them. So in our cloud infrastructure, we've been able to take advantage of that bring your own license, that we have 100 that are available. And then we're showing you in the graph below. So the blue bars are saying those are the bring your own license that we put into play. And then the orange bar is representing on a daily basis what the opportunity is to do convert from pay-as-you-go to bring your own license. And so when you move over to the right a little bit, there's a box there that says Windows Server. And what you're seeing is a breakdown between what do we have installed on AWS, what do we have installed on Azure, and then there's a kind of a yellowish box, if you will, that's telling us the potential savings that we see based on that. And then we also show, based on some of the updates that you would be providing and doing and initiating, we can see the savings that have been applied. And we as practitioners always reporting up, showing the value that we bring to the table. This is one of those indicators that you can share that says, I've been able to apply our ITAM best practices licensing, and here's the savings that we're able to show, and they're pretty significant. So that's the idea here. And as I'm going through, if you have questions, by all means, please put them in the chat, and I'll be able to either A, incorporate, or B, make sure that we can cover. This next screen, this is the opening screen. So cloud software usage, and what we're doing is we're showing you the spend insights. So it starts in the upper left where it says total cloud spend. And what it's doing is it's looking at both AWS and Azure. It's giving you the percentages of each. An area that many of our customers wanted some focus in on was, what are we spending in the marketplace? help us understand the marketplace spend for both AWS and Azure. So that's where this KPI box came from. And then based on the information we see, we can see the pay-as-you-go spend. So we just look at that particular area and we break it down between AWS and Azure. And then based on the last 30 days, what's the potential savings we can bring to bear? And then it breaks it down between the two. Now, we zeroed in on the last 30 days because anything older, there's a lot of activity that's taking place, and we wanted to make the quickest impact. So that's why we narrowed it to the 30 days here. And then as you start to apply these, as part of your normal cadence, you'll begin to see the savings begin from there. The next chart is the software spend by date. So if you hover over any of the blue lines, it'll show you for that day what the transactions looked like. And then as you continue this journey, the funnel will begin to show you the forecast. So as we begin this journey, we start collecting data, we start executing on some of our findings, and we're seeing the growth, or maybe we're seeing a divestiture of it. It depends, on your strategy. But the idea is that we can now see a trend and start to forecast it for you. So as we go forward, we can make sure that from an ITAM perspective, if I need more licensing, or if I'm retiring licenses from reduced workloads in the data center, this gives us some insight as to what's happening. The software spend by cost center. So that happens on the cloud side. So as the tagging begins and they start tagging the different resources, when they go to spin them up, then we're able to capture that. And then you see the software spend by the different software manufacturers. And then you're seeing the split between the two areas. All right. And then this is, I know it's a little bit of an eye chart, but what we're trying to show you here is, in addition to the high level overviews that we've shown you in the prior screens, what we're showing you here is a drill down into the resource level. And then within the resource level, I can tell you which cloud provider, I can tell you which account that this came from, the resource types. Now, FinOps will typically focus in on resource type and utilization and CPUs, virtual CPUs. They manage that to make sure that, there's a certain percentage of utilization and we stay within that range. One, to control costs, but two, to control the infrastructure. And then as you move to the right, what you're going to see is you'll see the name, which in this case is Windows Server. And then the next one column tells you, is this eligible for bring your own license? And so it looks at those characteristics and it gets that data from ITAM. And then based on that, we can show you what you're being charged today and then the savings that will happen because it's no longer pay as you go. It's taking advantage of what you already have. All right. And then here within CLM, what we're showing you is the cloud vendors that we work with. To the right, there's some additional, the roadmap continues to evolve as we move forward. And then what we're showing in this box is on the left is the different software vendors that we recognize today. So right out of the box, which products that we recognize right away. We can see the pay-as-you-go. We can see the potential savings. But where the magic comes in and where we connect the dots in this column that says yes, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth column, the fifth and the sixth column, those last two columns where it says yes. What we've done is we understand the complexity of the license models. And that's where we actually connect the dots between FinOps and ITAM. And because we understand how Microsoft handles its complexity, because we understand how Oracle is different than Microsoft and how Red Hat's different than Oracle and Microsoft, we apply those best practices to this. And when we make that connection, that's where you're seeing the yes. And then from there, we're able to manage all the different instances. And so the next box down that says peak licensable instance, what this is saying is of all the resources that you've spun up in the cloud, 15,203 of them have software that we can manage. And so we have this daily trend that helps us see the activity. And so as this unfolds, we're able to help manage that at scale across all your cloud activities. So it's pretty exciting. And as we get into a little bit more, we put this in. So in addition to the announcement of CLM, making that generally available, so you can get a demo and you can purchase it today. It's readily and available. We announced early access to cloud sustainability. We see a lot of synergies between the two. And so what you're seeing here is us working with, in order to bring the end-to-end carbon dashboard, you're seeing us bring together IT visibility and cloud CCO and bring those two carbon data sets together. And so the pie chart shows you where the carbon's coming from. You have a series of metrics that show you, what the values are. You're seeing a tree chart that shows you which resources are producing the most carbon. And then on the lower left, you're seeing it in the way Technopedia classifies category, subcategory, in terms of looking at it at the subcategory level and then the carbon that's produced. So more to come for this. We're open for early access. So if customers are interested, reach out. We'll be happy to engage in that dialogue. All right. So let's talk about customer success. Hopefully at this point, we're all in agreement on what the problem is and what it is we're trying to solve. And now the question becomes, how have other customers, what have they been able to do? What are the findings? And so that's what we'll dig into here. So the first one's an insurance company. We looked at their cloud spend. It's just shy of $10 million. It's basically on Azure. And as soon as we turned it on, we immediately identified $326,000 in savings, which is about 6.8% of the cloud bill. And how we did that was we saw quickly that they weren't taking advantage of bring your own license. And we saw opportunities whereby we can execute on those. And so what you're looking at here is in the upper left, you see this total AWS and Azure. We recognize that all the spend was in the Azure platform. We can see that all the spend was in the marketplace spend was in the Azure. We saw that pay-as-you-go, and then we saw this 325 potential savings, and a lot of it had to do with SQL Server. There were some challenges on the different variations and flavors of SQL Server. And as this was unfolding, they were also in contract negotiations with Microsoft. So the timing was perfect. The next example, retail. So cloud spend, 71 million annually. And we're seeing that the total savings potential was 676,000 on a monthly going forward. And this was a combination of both Microsoft and Oracle, I believe. And what we're seeing here was their pay-as-you-go was at 4.1. We're seeing the last 30 days what the potential savings were. And then as you dug in, got to the resource level, you can quickly see the pay-as-you-go and then being able to make that conversion to bring your own. And then based on that, executing. And then we like to say that the savings alone would justify the investment in CLM. So today it was a lot of effort to get this data going back and forth with our license expert over a 4-week span. and then the data was stale. And because we were able to bring this almost to real time, they were able to execute pretty quickly. And so they're really excited about these findings, and they were not aware of this because it was buried in a cloud bill. And when you look at the cloud bill, all the focus is on the resources, not recognizing that software has a pretty significant impact. And I believe this is my third and final one. This is in the healthcare arena. About 90% of their estate is in AWS, 187 million in cloud spend. We saw 465,000 monthly savings going forward potential. And what you're seeing here was we zeroed in, they like to say, find the needle in the haystack. We removed the haystack and found all the needles. And so in this case, these 3 needles were significant. And just by finding these 3 servers, that was the savings right away. So pretty big opportunity. In this case, missing opportunities to apply AHub for Windows Server without real-time visibility. So by the time we're done, you're seeing a lot of blue. So that tells you that we've been able to do significant savings there. All right. What else we have here? Let's take a quick peek at the roadmap. So again, we've launched this GA. We've had a number of customers that have had huge success, pretty significant cost savings, and the areas that they want us to dig into some more. So in Q2, we delivered SQL Server on AWS EC2, and we've been able to incorporate AI recommendations. So now we're taking advantage of this tremendous amount of information, and then using AI to help us with the insights to then bring that back to you. And so we've started that with SQL, and then as we get into the second half of 2025, we're going to apply this logic and build this capability for Red Hat, Linux, Oracle, IBM, etc. So some exciting opportunity there. The cloud and sources. So MCA 2.0, we delivered that. Azure reserved instances for PAYG, we delivered that. AWS EC2 instances. Now, as we get into the second half, AWS Spot, some more insights on Marketplace, and some more insights, and start to introduce Google Cloud as we go forward. And then just to call out, Flexera had just acquired Spot, and we're learning more and more from the Spot acquisition on insights that we could take advantage of. And so that kind of parlays perfectly into our integrations theme. So we've already done the entitlements for SAM on Snow Atlas. So we know that we have Snow Atlas, and we have Flexera's ITAM. And then coming into the second half, we're exploring with Spot the potentials and opportunities there. So pretty exciting roadmap there. More to come. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, so I think that was the main coverage. I had a couple more slides on sustainability, but I think we'll save that for a topic for another day. And let's open it up to questions. So what I'll do here is just kind of comb through, see if we have any questions. Let's see, just taking a look here. We got some people from Minnesota, from Connecticut, from the UK, Columbus, Ohio. I spent a lot of time there back early in my career over at Bank One, JP Morgan. Let's see, Chester, UK, Atlanta, Georgia. Spent some time there. Germany, Arkansas. I almost had to move there. Wisconsin, Vancouver. Pretty cool. Please check under Q&A published. So let me click on that. Answered, published. Oh, here we go. Now I see. New to the platform. Great set of questions. Here we go. What about M365? Very good question. And we are exploring that as well. In fact, there's a discovery card on that to dig into the particulars. But Jennifer, very good question. What about marketplace spend? What marketplace spend means? Very good question. So inside of AWS and Azure, it's very similar to going to a shopping mall. They have this catalog of software that's available. So publishers like Flexera can go to this marketplace and list our product, and then you can purchase it in that mall. And the terms are very in the vendor's favor. So typically, for the quick servers, database servers, those are refined pretty well, and that's where people go to spin that up. So that's where the marketplace is. And so what we've done is we put a laser focus to handle on that. And then Jennifer answered an awesome question. She's right. Microsoft 365. We have another product called SaaS Manager, SaaS Management Solution. Amazing product. And so that digs into the subscriptions significantly. Okay, and this is a data center license like SQL. Okay, Jennifer's been cranking on these. Azure hybrid benefits for Windows. Can you explain savings potential with an example? I think I covered a little bit of that. And let's see here, vendor license terms to repurpose on-prem license to AWS. Okay, so it looks like there was an answer to that. Is CLM additional license on top? Yes, it's an additional capability that has a laser focus, looking at cloud license management. Our customers have told us that they are looking for this use case. It's a challenge. It's so we put it together. So by all means, reach out to your sales rep. I'm sure you can negotiate an amazing deal, and I think the savings alone could be significant. All right, can you explain more on Spot? I'm not familiar with Spot. Great question. So Spot, they were buried inside of another company. And so they did a spin out divestiture. For those that are in the FinOps world, Spot was very well known in the MSPs, managed service providers. They were usually the magic behind the curtain to help large corporations as well as managed service providers help address a number of FinOps cloud. So they have tools, Cloud Checker. They've got security, cloud security. And I'll admit, as I think that acquisition just happened a few weeks ago. So internally, they've been presenting to us, and I've been participating in watching the lesson, learns, the learnings, lunch and learns, if you will. And it's been pretty significant. So feel free, I would say, go to the Flexera website, click on the Spot acquisition piece, and you'll see they had many products in their portfolio, very powerful at scale. And we as Flexerans and those that came over from Snow, we're all learning about Spot, and we can tell you it's pretty exciting. So more to come on that to help answer your question. And what does billing center context alignment mean in the last slide? So the billing center, that comes from the cloud bill itself. So when you open up the cloud bill, each resource that's spun up has to be charged to a billing center, and so through that, we're able to address it. And then the context helps you understand who spun it up and why it was spun up. All right, trying to think what else we have. So if anyone has a strong interest, by all means, reach out to us, reach out to your, we have SDRs, we have sales reps. We also have, there was a link in here to the blog posts that talks about what is CLM. And I believe at the bottom of that link has, interested, I'd like to learn more, let them know that you saw this webinar and that it piqued your interest. Trying to think what else we have here. Is there more questions? Oh, does CLM ties to CCO? So we do use CCO. That's how we get our cloud bill. But there's opportunity, and I believe there's some discovery cards, so that in the event that you're not using CCO, we have a way to get that data. So reach out. We have a plan for that. So if you're not a CCO customer, you're locked in, your current provider doesn't quite provide this, reach out to us. We have some options that we can explore. And then if you're taking advantage of our ITAM products, obviously you have the other half of the equation. All right. More questions. Oh, cool. Keep them coming. So what is changing in the second half of 2025? Yes. So I kind of covered a little bit. We've got pretty aggressive roadmap, but we're incorporating, we're doing some discovery on Spot to see where we can take advantage of some of Spot's capabilities to help us see some both enrichment as well as contextual. So a couple opportunities there. You saw a little bit on the Google. So let me go back here. Yeah, so you saw on the Spot instances, you saw Google Cloud Platform support, getting into that. You saw, in addition to SQL Server, really tying in and getting understanding the license complexities with, Red Hat, Oracle, taking advantage of our AI recommendations. So as we pull that in, so there's quite a bit of activity that sits in the second half. And if you want to dig in even more, by all means, let's schedule a call and we can dig in and maybe zero in on what you're looking for. And then billing center context alignment. Got it. So yeah, so the billing center context alignment. So that, again, that comes from the cloud bill, and that helps you see at the resource level who's using that license and what is it costing, and is there an opportunity to convert it from pay-as-you-go to bring your own license. Cool. So looks like we've covered the questions. Let me take a peek here in the new area. Oh, there's nothing there. Let me go to the chat, see if there's anything that popped up in the chat. Appreciate from all over the world. This is pretty cool. Okay, so we answered that. Can you explain more on Spot? Okay, we covered a little bit of that. CLM is purchased separate. Reach out to your sales team. And we talked about the blog. So by all means, click on the blog and take a look. And then there's some follow-up areas there. And I would say we have covered all the different topics and questions. I truly appreciate everyone's attention. Thank you for your questions. If we didn't answer all of them, or you think of something later, by all means, please reach out. We're happy to have the discussion. And then see if there's is there a follow-up after that? Nope. Okay, cool. So with that, thank you again for your time, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. I believe Nicholas will be back, and we will continue our normal broadcast, but we just wanted to make sure that you were aware of how excited we were about cloud license management and the early access to cloud sustainability. And with that, see you next time.